Well, after 3 days visiting schools in Silicon Valley, I'm back at the Smart Farm. Silicon Valley is a place of really interesting contrast. It's probably the most innovative zip codes in the world, and some of the most affluent as well. But I was visiting communities that were a lot less fortunate. I visited 6 schools where most of the kids are new to this country, many new to the English language. In a lot of the schools, their families had been fleeing poverty and oppression in their home country. I met a young girl in Oakland who told me that things hadn't worked out as well as they had hoped. They hadn't found the American dream yet. So it was a real trip of contrast. I stayed right next to the Tesla factory, and I saw schools in really tough neighborhoods. The promise of America and all of its challenges all right there. And those contrasts, the good news and bad news, inspired this 5-minute commencement speech. So here's the good news. You're living through 5 revolutions. We're living through a learning revolution when it's become easier for anybody to learn anything anywhere. We're living through a genetics revolution where decoding and the genome and using that data to drive personalized healthcare. It's also allowing us to edit the very code of life, something that is both promising and a bit scary. There's also a tech revolution, exponential technologies making it easier to build apps, easier to start a new business, and smart machines are helping us build better businesses and lead better lives. But it's also leading very quickly to smart AI, and that's going to be a good news, bad news story that you'll need to keep an eye on. It's going to change the employment landscape for you over your career. It's being driven in part by the connectivity revolution, the broadband and transaction platforms like Uber and Amazon, pipelines and cables that are connecting the world's population. More than half the population is now clustering into cities, 50 mega cities around the world. And these connections are in many ways more important than the political borders connecting these cities. We're also seeing a green revolution where there's really good progress on sustainable technology. A couple years ago, I would have said the democracy revolution, but that looks like it has stalled a bit. And that sort of brings me to the bad news. So us baby boomers, we've left things in a bit of a mess for you. Here's a couple of the things you're inheriting. You're inheriting a winner-take-most economy, and that's starting to spread inequality across America and across the world. You're inheriting climate change. The planet's getting warmer. It'll warm by 2 or 3 degrees, 5 degrees in some places, and that's going to make parts of the Middle East and North Africa really unsustainable. Weather's getting more unpredictable. The sea levels are rising, and that's swamping low-lying areas. And there's also more conflict, and ideological differences are driving civil wars and these new non-state actors. So it's a good news, bad news story that you're inheriting, and here's what that means for you. First of all, you have to develop an innovation mindset. You have to learn a growth mindset, a maker mindset, a team mindset. We talked about this in our book called Smart Cities. In short, that means effort and initiative and collaboration matter, and matter a lot. Number 2, we're all in the marketing business. You have to learn how to advance a brand. You need to get some sales experience, and that all starts with don't be an idiot online, because team members and employers will find that. You are in the brand building business. Number 3, it's a project-based world. Half of you are going to freelance, and half of you will be working in larger organizations, but almost all of you will manage your work in projects. So learn how to manage projects. Look for experience leading teams. It's all about getting work and delivering value. That's marketing and project management. And finally, and fourth, stumble towards your purpose. Here's the magic formula that I and lots of people have figured out. Number one, figure out what you're good at. Find that stuff that produces a flow experience where you can lose yourself in your work, where you feel really productive. Number two, find causes that get you out of bed in the morning, things that create joy and fulfillment. And number three, figure out what the world needs, where you can create value, where you can make some money. And if you can put these three together, that flow and joy and money, you'll never be looking for work. You'll always be busy, but it won't feel like work. Good luck and Godspeed.